So let's continue with our topic on the cell. Now we're in eukaryotic cells. Eukaryotic cells are cells that have a real nucleus, so they have a nucleus. Number two, they have membrane-bound organelles. And number three, they can be unicellular or multicellular. An example of a unicellular eukaryote would be yeast. An example of a multicellular would be humans. Okay. So let's go to the structure of a eukaryotic cell. Eukaryotic cell. So just like prokaryotic cells, eukaryotic cells have a plasma membrane or a cell membrane, which is responsible for keeping the inside from the outside. They have a nucleus, which eukaryotes don't have, which prokaryotes don't have. The function of the nucleus is to store DNA. DNA is a genetic material important in transferring information from parents to offspring and also directing what kind of proteins are made by that cell. Okay? The nucleus here, all of this, everything, is surrounded by a nuclear membrane. The nucleus is surrounded by a nuclear membrane. In the eukaryotic cell, we have ribosomes. If you remember, the function of ribosomes is what? Yes, protein synthesis. So if you need to make a protein, these ribosomes are responsible for making proteins. So these are the typical structures found in both eukaryotic cells and prokaryotic cells, except for the nucleus, of course. So we have what we call the endomembrane system. There is a system of communication within the cell called the endomembrane system, and it starts here with the nuclear membrane. And the nuclear membrane is continuous with a structure called the endoplasmic reticulum. The endoplasmic reticulum is a network found within the cell that has multiple functions. Sometimes you may have an endoplasmic reticulum that comes studded with ribosomes, just a bunch of ribosomes on it. That's called a rough endoplasmic reticulum. And the function of the rough endoplasmic reticulum is protein synthesis, just like the ribosomes. There's a slight difference in their destination of the proteins, though. These ribosomes, these free ribosomes, are responsible for synthesizing proteins that will be used within the cell, while the rough endoplasmic reticulum is responsible for proteins that will be used outside the cell. So the proteins made by the rough ER will be exported out of the cell. So we also have a structure called the smooth endoplasmic reticulum. So we have another endoplasmic reticulum that's smooth, which means it has no ribosomes on it. The function of the smooth endoplasmic reticulum is lipid and steroid synthesis. So organs that have need of synthesizing steroids, like the ovaries that synthesize estrogen, or the testes that synthesize testosterone, will have high activity of the smooth endoplasmic reticulum. Okay, so the nuclear membrane, the rough endoplasmic reticulum, the smooth endoplasmic reticulum, they're part of a system called the endomembrane system, the endomembrane system. But that's not all about the endomembrane system. We have a structure called the Golgi apparatus. The Golgi apparatus. When proteins have been synthesized, here in the Golgi apparatus, they are packaged. Oh, sorry about that. They're packaged in vesicles to be exported. Okay? And the Golgi is also responsible for some, what we call a post-translational modification. Post-translational modification. All that means is that after a protein has been made, we can add something else to it. Sometimes we can combine a protein with glucose, and or with a lipid. That's called a post-translational modification. Okay, so there are other organs, and then, so the Golgi apparatus will then make vesicles. These vesicles will then be packaged with proteins, and these vesicles can be shipped outside the cell. Okay? All right. I want you to know a few other organelles before we move away from here. Okay? We also have an organelle called the lysosome. If you see the word lysosome, you see here the word lyse. To lyse means to break down, the word lyse. To lyse, to break down, to break open. And so the function is it contains digestive enzymes that help digest things within the cell. So especially if you have an old organelle that's tired, the lysosome can engulf that organelle and destroy it. Or if a lysosome bursts open and ruptures, it can digest the entire cell. So this is like a waste area of the cell. It helps to digest things within the cell. Okay? Then we have, we have our mitochondria. Let's not forget that. Our mitochondria. The mitochondria is the site for ATP synthesis. Adenosine triphosphate. ATP synthesis. The function of ATP is to provide energy for the cell. And so adenosine triphosphate is made here in the mitochondria. All right, let's see if I missed any organelles I'd like you to know. Okay, so I'm going to stop here and I'm going to start a new slide where I talk about the plant cell. Thank you.